All right, there's two things I actually really wanted to do today, and we're a little behind schedule, but maybe we'll run a little long today. Um, I'm going to scrap my first ISS jellyfish today. We're going to do it right now. Well, we're going to put it in the scrapper right now. I still have quite a few levels to go. This is going to require a lot of latinum to do this upgrading, but we're going to do it right now to get it in there. And then we're going to look at what the advantage to doing this is. That's probably going to cost me, I guess we'll 38.5 million is where I started at. These levels do get pretty steep. You're talking about 4, 5, 6 million. The lag is also not fun right now. Did my jelly serve me well? Yeah. Mm. Back in the day, it was before the server, I think I was playing before the server ascension was even a thing. I don't think I had my jellyfish unlocked because the sourcing of it was so bad. I think by the time I got it unlocked, we had already uh, moved up and players were moving into the 40s. So I didn't really spend a whole lot of time using the jellyfish to begin with. It's a cool looking ship, but to go from 40 to 60 here is probably going to cost me over 2 million latinum. Would I say unlocking a jelly is a requirement to move from 39 to 40? Absolutely not. The jellyfish has little value in today's game. At once upon a time, when servers were capped and things like that, it was, the biggest ship you could get. That was 3.5 years ago. Even since then, yeah, that was about 2.5 million latinum. Even since then, it has drastically gone down. Even now, to the point where you can get your G3 epics up just as high as a mid-tier jellyfish, which is supposed to be a higher tier ship, but you can get an Enterprise or an Augur or something like that at tier 9, maxed out up to be decent enough power. Plus, you're actually doing more damage because the jelly doesn't put out a whole lot of damage on its own. It takes a while for its ability to kick in for it to scale up. It was designed for longer fights for armadas and things like that, which isn't really that big a deal. And that, again, this is years and years ago. Am I upgrading my scrapyard right now? I am upgrading my scrapyard right now. Okay, it looks like we're spending more latinum to finish upgrading my scrapyard. The only advantage to the jellyfish is the jellyfish event, the jelly brawl event, which gives you a decent amount of uncommon 4-star gas and explorer parts, which is helpful. But I wouldn't use those materials to upgrade the jellyfish. You get the jellyfish to like tier 2 or tier 3 where it's still using commons, and that's enough for you to go out and do the event. And you save those materials, and then you put them into something like a Valdor at 42, or Voyager, or, you know, maybe even a Coronar at 46. Like, you use it to source materials for your other ships. So, let's see how long this thing takes to scrap now here. ISS Jellyfish, level 60. We're going to put this in the scrapper. It's going to take 5 days to scrap, but you're looking at some of these rewards that I'm getting here out of this, and this is why people do this mechanic, right? I'm getting 5-star commons, which is nice. It'll help things a little bit, but I'm also getting, 4-star explorer parts and 4-star gas and stuff back. And you're like, well, who cares about that? Why do I want 4-star materials back? I'm getting rid of a 4-star ship, essentially. Well, we're going to go look at it in just a second. Let's get that in the scrapper. Now, let's go pull up our ISS Jellyfish, which is a rare. So this is what we were just looking at down here. So you look at the Jellyfish itself. It takes 4-star parts to make. And if we come down here to our scrapping, you can start scrapping it as low as 43. Not ideal, because you really want to get more of your efficiencies and stuff up. And then here's all the rewards that we're getting back. But like people have asked, why do this? So just to recap, if we go to our cost calculator and we look at our ISS Jellyfish, we'll put these side by side here. Nope. Stop it. There we go. So, currently have one at tier 1. I want to take it all the way to tier 12. Based on efficiencies and things like that, you can come down here, you can see your build bonuses, you can look at your research bonuses. This is where I'm getting these bonuses and stuff from. All of it's right there. You can see ship parts, I'm getting 1170%. I'm getting over 400% on material costs. So what it's telling me over here that it's going to cost me to take this all the way up to tier 12 is getting significantly reduced. And I can actually see that up here. If we make this one a little bit smaller and we do that so it all just puts onto one line. So our 4-star common should be 7.5 million, right? 7.5 million. Because of all of my research and efficiencies, it's actually only 600K. Now, when you scrap this thing, you don't get the commons back. So you'll either have to continue sourcing the commons, or you'll have to convert Latinum from them if you want to build another one, which you can do with the common ones. You get all of the uncommon and the rare back. You can see here my 4-star uncommon should be 675,000. Because of my efficiency, it's actually only going to cost me 53,000 to level this up. Well, by scrapping it, I get 164,000 back. And with the rare parts, I need about 15,000 to level it up, and by scrapping it, I get 45,000. So my efficiencies are so high that I'm actually getting 3 times the materials back as when I scrap it. So I build one completely, I scrap it, I get 3 times the materials back. So now I can build 3 more. I'm not going to build 3 more. I'm going to build 2 more. And I'm going to scrap both of those, and I'm going to keep that other third off to the side. And I'm going to have a whole bunch more stuff. And that's going to pile up and pile up and pile up. So I get all of these extra materials here from doing all of this process. And then, you know, if you are still, you know, a high G4 player, you're going to dump them into the Enterprise A. Because all those extra parts you're getting back are going to help make leveling this thing up that much better. You're not going to get enough out of it in 1 shot or 2 shots to get it all, but you're going to be able to start sourcing this thing for free. And the reason players, especially G5 players, like this mechanic is for 2 reasons. 1, you're endlessly cycling resources, which help with officer auction events like we currently have going on right now. And 2, because when you get to that G4 loop here and you start building up and scrapping eventually this G4 Enterprise, which you can do at 57. At Ops 57, you're now scrapping a G4 Enterprise. You are getting a whole bunch of 5-star uncommon and rare Explorer parts and materials, and 5-star epic materials, which you can use for some 5-star researches. But at 57, you're most likely just using this for either your 56 epic, if you happen to get, which one is it? It's the Klingon one at that point. I forget I forget what the name of the ship is off. The Sompek. Couldn't remember it for a second, having a brain fart. You can use it to upgrade your Sompek at 56. to take it to higher tiers with these 5-star parts, or you can save them for Ops 60 until you go after the Enterprise A, and you can use these materials to help really upgrade the cost of that. And the trick with this is basically, I think about 700% ship part efficiency is kind of your break even. So anything above 700% is where you really start to pull ahead. So as you can see, mine's 1175 right now from different, and you can look down here and see where it's all coming from. You've got different things lowering your costs. Some of these other researches, especially in G5, are improving your efficiency. Let's go full screen on this one. So you can see more of your efficiencies and things, lowering your ship part costs. You've got your primes that you're doing. You've got your artifacts that you're doing. Now some of the new stuff from the Mirror Universe tree is lowering it even further. If you had Fleet Commander Lorca, you could take it down even more. Obviously your mess hall is also a big upgrade here. So yeah, there's a whole mechanic to this thing, and it essentially, once you get the first one done and your efficiencies are good enough, it becomes this sort of, self-repeating loop. So now I'd come in here, I'm scrapping a jellyfish. Let me come in over here and let's build another one. Obviously you can source the blueprints for this from territory. Where the heck? There it is. So I can build 6 of these guys. Okay. Almost 6. You can source the blueprints from territory. No matter what level you are, you're probably still pulling G3 rare boxes at least, because that's how you get epic directives from your alliance. And occasionally going to pull this G3 epic box as well, because it just gives you materials and resources, and it's fairly inexpensive. It's only 5,000, which is not a lot when you're thinking about the numbers you're getting off of armadas in this range. So you can continue to gradually just continue to source blueprints right out of here for your jellyfish, or from your territory. Right in here, come in here, do your weekly claim. Sure, why not? I don't really use this stuff anymore at my level because I've done most of the research. So the iso emulsions, but again, even if you're doing smaller numbers, just grabbing little bits of it here and here. Over the time it's going to take you to build and upgrade and scrap and keep repeating this loop. And now I'd come in here and I would just go, when I have that next one built and I have all those extra materials, and there's an officer recruit event like this, I can take it up multiple levels, and I'm spending those G4 materials that I got for free. It's not a lot of points. 40, 60, it's not a lot. But if there was a paired SMS with this, it might get me a milestone or 2. And that's free officer shards without having to compromise any other upgrading that I'm working on. So that's kind of what that whole mechanic is and how that works, and why people keep talking about how this jellyfish scrapping thing and why it keeps coming up, because it's one of the most effective ways to sort of accomplish several things at once, all for free. Hollywood says your jellyfish is only tier 1, and you can still do the events. It depends if you need the warp range, if you should tier it up. Yeah, going from tier 1 to tier 2, I think it only takes common materials to do that, so it's not a big deal. It gives you an extra officer slot, just in case you want to put somebody under there. Again, to just make your event grinding easier, even if you put an impulse officer like Dane under there, just so you move around faster. That could also be beneficial. So there's a natural stopping point for it while you're actively leveling up in your 30s and 40s, because the ship doesn't really serve much of a purpose. Kind of like the Mayflower or the Legionary or one of those 26 ships, right? You bought it at 26, you used it for the cloaking daily to get that done for a few levels, but you didn't really take the ship up that high because it doesn't really scale well compared to other ships of its size. And then eventually you're like, oh, now I'm in my 30s. Well, now I can scrap this thing and I get extra rewards for it. And that's how we source all of our 4-star primes early, is by scrapping Mayflowers and D3s and Legionaries. this is kind of the same thing, kind of in that same mechanic. So hopefully that gives you some visual aids to help sort of break that down a little bit better and kind of understand exactly what it is that people mean when they keep talking about this whole scrapping loop with the jellyfish.